They say she eat it to homeless. I'ma say you fuck her right down. Sometimes go to my just left and right. I just want to get in fantasy. To think we deserve fine. My heart a memory. I better make it my life. My baby ecstasy. The ladies is pink tonight. We're gonna find a dream. Say we're gonna fly. I put that on my mama, on my hood. I look fly, good. You can touch my back, but you could. I look fly, I look good. Put that on my mama, on my hood. I look fly, I look good. You can touch my back, but you so deep in my bag, like a grandma with a peppermint. They say she's ugly, that's just 'cause I haven't seen. Sex game go stupid, stepping like a groupie. Better tell the truth, your opinion is irrelevant. But boy, you think I'm right, might be too fine to hit it from behind. Reflection in the mirror, don't get tired. I can't even lie. I put that on my mama, on my hood. I look fly, I look good. You can't touch my back, but you could. I look fly, I look good. Put that on my mama, on my hood. I look fly, I look good. You can't touch my back, but you could. I look fly, I look
Peace and love, spread love, and I hate. Let's go. Tap the tap that like button. You already know. You already know what it is. It's your boy Chef Disaster, your host with the most, your favorite chef. Let's get it. Let's go. You know I am the content. Smash that like button.
New Orleans, good for the East Coast. Represent. We love so you got to keep on. Oh, you just gotta keep on.
Peace and love, spread love, and I hate. It's your boy Chef Disaster. Welcome to Socially Balanced TV. Welcome to an episode of Today in America, where we talk about current events going on in America, things and how they affect us and how we should go about our business. Over here, we don't give a perspective of your normal influencer or politician or, you know, reverend or even someone, your friend. It's not normal. It's an open platform. And we come together and we put our thoughts and perspectives and opinions together and we try to have a cordial conversation. Sometimes things happen that we can't control. That's what happens when you put folks with different opinions and different perspectives coming from different walks of life together. But we expect that. That's to be expected over here on Socially Balanced TV. You heard? I appreciate everybody coming in. I'm your host, Chef Disaster 3.0, your favorite chef. Check out all my content on all other social media platforms, Instagram, under the same name, Chef Disaster. Um, yeah, so we're gonna talk about some things. Got some great content. I'm gonna give my little commentary on what's going on currently in America. It's important to talk about the things that's going on around you, and I'm just going to talk about the things that I know to be going on in America, the things that affect me, not the things that I can't control, you know what I mean? And that pretty much hasn't affect me. Not saying that I don't care about things that don't affect me directly, but I rather take care of the things that affect me directly first. Big up to everybody who showed up and showed out last night for my yesterday's live stream. If you wasn't there and you missed out on the actual live stream, you can go back and watch the replay. Replay gang, what's up? Um, let's get into this content. Got some good stuff going on. Today's America, you know what I'm saying? Hold on. In today's America, yeah. Hold on one second. Let me get right with you. Get right with you. I don't think that's it. Hold
If you're a New York teen struggling with mental health, let me tell
on.
you.
My bad. My bad. My bad. My bad. I'm trying to get this music together. You all know me. It'd be kind of dry without the music a little bit. It'd be having me parched. How's that? Is that fitting? Yeah, there we go. Let me know if you can hear me. Let me know if you can hear me. Rock out to that a little bit. Take a drink of some of this motherfucking water as I get ready. you know? Talk about it. Today in America, let me know how you're feeling out here. Do you care about what's going on in America today, or you're just like, so what? I don't care. Who cares about all that? You know? Well, there's a lot going on. There's a lot you should know about. There's a lot of things happening today in America. And this is my perspective, your boy Chef Disaster's perspective. I'm here to talk about it. We got a lot of government spending cuts and how that's affecting us personally. I know it's personally affecting me. I don't know about you, but it's affecting my pocket a little bit. And once you affect my bottom line, that's where I have to draw the line. Affect my bottom line, and I have to draw the line. So, well, why do you say that, Chef Disaster? I say that because the government spending that. You know, and I know I have family members and friends who work at these places that are receiving these cuts, and I ain't even going to front. A lot of the time when people talk about cuts, these politicians be talking about these cuts. I don't really be like understanding it because it really don't hit home. But on this one, more than any other time, it hit home. It definitely hit home. My in-laws and stuff work for the government, and when they started making these cuts, people close to them got fired. People that was there making a living, depending on these jobs to get through, and then people just come in and cut as they see fit. And the problem with that is, one, it's not right, to just do people like that. I don't know if y'all ever lost your job, but that shit ain't cool. You know what I mean? Chef Disaster here to say that ain't cool. So if you got a job and you still holding your job, right now is the time to tighten up. You gotta tighten it up. No more being late. Get there on time for all my brothers being late. Get there, punch in on time. You know what I mean? Go for employee of the month, whatever's going on. make sure you do what you gotta do. Because when they gotta make them choices and they gotta make them cuts, and everybody is looking equal and on the same playing field, they start to look at these little things, man. So if you ain't been appreciating your job, now it's the time to start appreciating your job. I just thought I'd let y'all know. I know it ain't putting nobody in the next presidential seat, but tighten up, tighten up, America, tighten up on your jobs. Pay your bills on time because you don't want to come home and the lights is out and the electric company ain't gonna give you no free time because times is hard. They like, yo, we've been giving you free time. We've been giving you time on your bill month after month after month, and we like you. But you see what's going on. Shit is tight around here. So we ain't gonna be able to cut your lights on until you fully pay your bill. Until you fully pay your bill. So if you don't want to be in that predicament, you know, I suggest you tighten up. I suggest you tighten up all the way up. You know what I mean? Do the right thing, America. If you think it's not gonna affect you, next minute you could be the next one on the chopping board. So all these government spending cuts, they can affect you. They can and they will affect you. So tighten it up. If you don't wanna be the next one on the chopping board, don't give them a reason to have to put you on the chopping board because you've been late every day. You 2 minutes late here, 1 minute late here, 5 minutes late here. I'm telling you, I'm here to tell you, your boy Chef Disaster is here to tell you, tighten it up. Tighten it up. Um, what else? We got the airplanes falling out of the sky. And I'm only talking about this because I'm an American, you know what I'm saying? You got planes just falling and flying out of the sky. Like, come on now. Does this have to do with the government spending cuts? Ask yourself that. It might have something to do with it. You cutting these people and all these jobs that still got to be done. By the way, the jobs still got to get done. So now you're putting a bigger strain on a lesser group of people to get these jobs done with less. A lot of companies, low key, they do that. They try to get the most with less. You know what I mean? So at certain times, companies will just make cuts and expect like the managers or the other employees to pick up the slack, and that's what's been going on with these planes. I ain't an engineer, I ain't an aircraft specialist, I ain't know, but I can just tell you when you look at it, the math is mathing. The planes is falling out of the sky. They making cuts down at the FA place. You know what I mean? They firing people here and there. 1 plus 1 equal 2. So we got to be more careful. We got to be mindful about, flying now. You got to be mindful about the next time you want to get on a plane. I'm just saying, be careful. Be careful what plane you take. Again, it goes back to tighten up, man, tighten up, because we expect more from you now that the government is making all these spending cuts. If you think it's not affecting you, trust me, it will. It just ain't. It ain't got to you yet. I got family and friends that's been affected by these cuts, so you need to wake up, America. As an American, I'm, you know, I'm doing my due diligence to let you know to tighten up, America. Get your money, get your bag, be about your money at all costs. You know what I mean? Gotta tighten up. If you gotta tighten up, things is tight around here. You know what I mean? No more extra snacks, no more shopping, no more Louis bags, no more none of that. Now it's time to save all money in and no money out. That's from the great Keyway Net, you heard? So come on now. If you don't think it's affecting you just because you ain't taking the proper precautions and you don't see what's going on around you, the D, the defense, the Department of Defense, all these leaders that are losing their jobs. Um, it's a shame. It's a shame. You know what I mean? I believe that we should care if another person lose their job. Like No matter how much you hate the person, even people that you hate, when they lose their job, it should be something for them to do in between finding another job. You know what I mean? Without an issue, without like unemployment and workers' comp. We all know the headache that is America. We all know the headache that is as it is. So there should be something in place for people that lose their job. First and foremost, I just want to say that. Um, Now, when they did all of that and they want to get rid of all of that, you know why I think that is? It's to make you forget what America really did, what America is really built on. And we know it's built off capitalism. See, nobody likes to be reminded of their dirty deeds. It's like you catch somebody out there doing something, and then you confront them on it, and you tell them like, "Yo, I know what you did," and you know they know that you know what they did, and they still lie to you. They still lie right to your face. Well, that's the same thing, but only with America, they're they're exercising their right to make it all disappear. They put lawyers and big people on it and cover it up with a lot of money. You know, they're doing a lot to make history disappear. For us as Americans, we got to make sure that does not happen. We got to make sure that doesn't happen, America. You know what I'm saying? How do we do that? I always, make sure what needs to be known is known. You know what I mean? To sum it all up. If I want to know something about myself, I do my history. You know what I mean? On top of any other thing I've known, because sometimes people don't tell you the truth. They tell you a blatant lie. Like human beings lie to each other like it's nothing. Human beings lie to each other face to face like it's nothing. So you don't think that an entity that's controlling everything that's going on won't tell one little white lie? And I'm just being nice. If you don't think they won't tell one little white lie, and if you are one of the ones who believe that, well, I'm here to tell you, wake the fuck up, you're wrong. You're all the way wrong. All the way. So, you know, if you see these things going on, they affect you. They really do. The planes falling out of the sky, the government spending cuts, um, the Department of Justice, the even the Pentagon, um, the Navy, the military, they affect you because these are people who depend on these jobs, these careers, these forms of income to support their family. When you start uprooting these people from these type of things, it causes a ripple effect, and the ripple effect falls down to us. The middle to the lower class people, to the people they just don't give a fuck about. But it fall out to us, and we feel the effects of that. You know what I mean? They might, if they go, the people down on the bottom, they making a whole different noise than us. They noise is sort of like, it's like being squashed, you know what I mean? So just just keep that in mind. Just keep that in mind. If you see big people getting chopped, imagine what's about to happen to you. Just keep that in mind. So if you think it's not affecting you, you better wake up. Um, yeah, I told you I'm gonna talk about it. I'm gonna talk about America, and I'm gonna let you all know how I feel about what's going on today in America, current events and things like that. We talked about the planes and everything. Your boy Chef Disaster is a man of many hats. Smash that like button on your way in. I got something nice for you. I got something nice for you. Check it out. I always got something nice for you when I say I got something nice for you. I got something nice for you. Here we go. Here we go. One second. Where's it at? No, that's not it. That wasn't it. Give me 1 second. We gonna find it. Oops, excuse me. No, that's not it. might can't find it. Let's see what I did with it. A picture perfect. I painted a perfect picture. How you doing today? I didn't even check who was in the chat. Well, I gotta go back to doing my roll call. Go back to doing my roll call. Word. But here we go. I got something for you. Let's go to here. Then really? That's how we doing now? All right.
This world is such and when I say this world, I don't mean in an ideal sense. I mean in every day, every little thing you do. It's such a gimme, gimme, gimme. Everybody back off. You know, everybody's like you taught that from school, everywhere. Big business. You want to be successful. You want to be like Trump. Gimme, gimme, gimme. Push, 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 push. Step, step, step. Crush, crush, crush. That's how it all is. It's too much money here. I mean, nobody should be hitting lotto for 36 million, and we got people starving in the streets. That is not idealistic. That's just real. That is just stupid. There's no way Michael Jackson should have, or whoever Jackson, should have a million thousand, druple $1 billion, and then there's people starving. There's no way. There's no way that these people should own planes and their people don't have houses. Even if you earned it, you still owe. Because look at me, I don't have that mega money, but I feel guilty walking by somebody. I got to give them some mail. And if I know I got $3,000 in my pocket, I feel like it's wrong to give that person a quarter.
So that was Tupac back in like 1992. Do the math. You see how long that is, how long ago that is. Tupac in 1992, talking about Donald Trump and his tactics and what how he was going about as a businessman. Remind you, Trump at this time is only a businessman. He's not politician Trump. He's businessman Trump. And Pac seen his tactics in him early. Tupac seen that early. But I just figured I touched that today's America, how, my boy be even relevant today. That was Tupac talking about Donald Trump in 1992. Realist 100 is in the building. All right. Oh, Tony this spot. What up, Tony? Salute. All right. It's wicked times out here. This is a beloved country of ours, right? This is our beloved country, brother. The government been telling what's happening. People just don't see it. That's a fact. Folks have to dog eat dog folks have that dog eat dog mentality and can't see past worrying about anything other than themselves. That's a fact, my good brother. Ain't never lie. Rest up, Pop. Yeah, I ain't never lie. I try not to lie. You already know. That's the that's the uh that's the American in me. I'm an opportunist. What can you say, man? I'm an opportunist. I gotta get this bread. There's one more thing I want to play. I think this was a pretty interesting thing. It was a reminder of you know of what's going on. It when I'm a person that likes to hear what the young people have to say. How do they see the world through their eyes, through their perspectives, through their visions, and sometimes little people say the darndest things. They say things like that, but they really have relevancy. Like when you listen and you hear something from a child, you're like, oh, you can hear an adult say the same exact thing, and it won't have that effect on you as when you hear a child say it. Like when you hear a child sing a young, girl sings "We Are the World," Whitney Houston song, and Whitney kills it. But when you hear a young girl that can sing, it's really 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 special. I mean, that's how, pretty much Whitney got on like that. They heard her young and she was killing it. But I say that to say this, you know, the children are the real resources for America, right? And if we don't listen to them and we don't allow them to have freedom of speech, or we scare them, or we bottle them in with our wicked ways and our capitalism and, just being mean adults, they don't get the opportunity to grow and blossom into the beautiful minds that they're supposed to be. Um, the one thing about my America and today's America, I can see resilience. Because with everything going on and things like that, I don't see hysteria or mass panic. I see a lot of people in reserve, taking their jabs or taking their lumps or just observing and seeing what's going on. And trust and believe there are people that's preparing for the worst. And I'm not. There's even people who's got bunkers of artillery in the ground, and they're waiting for something big to happen. They've been praying for this day and things like that. And I'm here to let you know, as an American, as a Black American, just tighten up, tighten up. Believe in the higher power. But whatever you've been doing, it's time to tighten that up. You know, um, just do it better than you was doing it before, cause it's gonna matter. It's really gonna matter. You don't want to listen to me, that's cool. But if I was you, I would tighten up. Let's get to the shorties. Let's get to the kids, man. Cause what Whitney say? She said, "We are the ones that make a better day. So let's start giving. There's a choice we're making. We're saving all our love. It's true to make a better day. Just me and you." Word. She kills that. But I got something for you. It's important, man. It's important that we hear what the children have to say. I got something. I got something. Okay. All right. Yes, I do. I got the goods. All right. You sit back and enjoy this.
Lagana, but most people call me Didi. I am a ninth grader at
Oh,
Northwest.
hold on. Let me give her full respect. Gotta give them their flowers. Let's give her full respect. Her name is if just in case you don't hear what she said. Her name is Daniela Gagno, Gagno, but she'll say it properly. I'm just giving you an idea. Let's go.
Good morning. My name is Daniela Gagno, but most people call me Didi. I am a ninth grader at Northwest High School, and I wanted to thank you so much for this opportunity. Today, I recite my own poem titled My History. My history. My history is an economics lesson. It's cause and effects. It's politics and policies. It's an easy A. Take the class, read the syllabus, write the essay. My history has become a grade, and I am not okay with the way that they downgrade my history. They tell you what the county says, they summarize it in a few short words and put it in textbooks. They paraphrase the suffering that my people face. One semester isn't enough to learn about chains. One semester isn't enough to learn about rape. One semester will never be enough to learn about my history. Do you know my history? That in 1787, I was only three-fifths of one person, that they had to compromise to find out what my worth is. Do you remember that? Do you remember that lesson, or did you just forget it? I mean, I don't blame you. I blame your skin. I blame your privilege. And I know that right now you're thinking, Oh, how typical. A thick lipped, broad hipped, brown skinned girl talking about race here, avoiding eye contact because you're scared to look at me in the face. You're scared of what you'll see because in my melanin lies so much history. They say black don't crack. And they're right. It doesn't. It shatters, it tears, and it breaks. I was born with a gun held to my head. I was born into life, but my complexion conceived my death. As a kid, my mother told me to be careful because they watch each breath, they measure each step. In second grade, you learn how to multiply by two. And in my history, that is the only rule. You have to be 2 times smart. You have to work 2 times hard. You have to learn how to keep your mouth shut, or you'll be an article on TV just like Eric Garner. My talk wasn't the birds and the bees. My talk was how to face the police. In my 14 years of life, that is my history. Keep your mouth shut. Turn your music down. Put your hands on the dashboard and don't make a sound. Show him your registration. Show him your ID, even when you didn't do anything wrong, because I want you home safely. My history isn't just a lesson, it's not just part of some curriculum. My history is the sculpture that created me. My history is the reason a teacher asked a young black boy, what do you want to be when you're older? And he says, I want to be alive. Slavery ended years ago, but the crippling poison of racism still resides. The emancipation was just a document that a white man signed. Whether he wanted us free or to feed his pride, I don't know. But my history isn't just a lesson you can sum up in a few words. My history is my life. And so when you ask me where I am from, I say here because you took me away from my motherland and made me a slave all these years. You split apart families, and no matter how much time you try to glue it back together, there will always be tears. You took my history from me. You beat me down and told me to stand tall. You cut off my legs and asked me to walk. You asked to feel my hair and told me it should be straight. And every time a black girl gets braids, you ask, how long does that take? And you always assume that my hair is going to be fake. In school, you asked me in a survey, do the things you're learning about represent your race? But there's no option for, yes, I see my race, but only when we were slaves. You only show me when I was in chains. You don't show the beauty of my motherland. You don't show the richness in my skin. You show the pain. And I'm not here to pin the blame. No, I am here asking. Wait, I am begging that an educational system can change, because at the beginning of each day you ask us to say the Pledge of Allegiance. And so everybody stands, they put their hands to their hearts, they turn their bodies to the flag. But I refuse to get up even if they get mad, because they say, I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America. And by the time they finish the last line, I feel like crying because
You know, people shouldn't really try to call
they
you.
say with liberty and justice. But the only thing I can think of is for who? Is it you? Oh, is it you? Because if you take your time and look through history, you'll see that they made Jim Crow an evil and they called that liberty.
Yes, sir. Yeah, I'll go on and give her flowers. Give her flowers, man. Yeah, I really love seeing young, educated people, man. Young, well-rounded, educated black folks. You know what I mean? Ain't nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that. So in this poem, the little girl who's only a ninth grader, by the way. So big up to her home training, all the schooling, the investment put into this little girl is definitely paying off. Wish we all can raise beautiful, thoughtful kids like this. Um, give praise to that. Give praise to good parenting. We love good parenting over here. Um, but yeah, she touched on as a ninth grader. I believe she said she was 14 years old. You know, I'm saying that some of that came from home because in her poem she complained about only having one semester of the education of history, and of her own history, and she wants to know more. She wants to embrace her heritage and things like that. So it's important to note that in America today, the Black History, we have a month. The education system, recognizes, the struggles of Black folks in the month of February, which is a really, really good thing. We get to, you know, heal from the traumas. We get to recognize the wrongs. We get to forgive. We get to see growth. You know, we get to get back that confidence that was taken from us. And some of us should take the time to invest and go learn about yourself, do something that your ancestors did, visit the plantations and, you know, travel along the seas that they did for some of them to get here, or just walk barefooted on the native land for the indigenous people. You know, take advantage of these things during this time of month, but they want to take the money away. They want to take it all away and make it have to do with something like money. Like, is money really important compared to education and equality? I don't think they can make a number that's equal to my equality, my equal rights as an American. That's not up for sale. That's not up for negotiation for that matter. So when I said we must listen to the children, that was a 14-year-old, a young black girl who's letting you know because she is the future. Remember Whitney Houston? We are the ones to make a better day. So let's start giving. Rest in peace, Whitney Houston. Love her. But the children will tell you what's going on. When you listen, when you know what you're listening for. See, I didn't go into it to look for something to say, oh, she's fast. I went into it looking for a brilliant mind, you know? Um, and that's what I got. So yeah, man, it's important that we support the children here in today's America, man. It's important that we get behind that and stand on business. Some things is laughable, but a lot of some things are not. And one of the things that it's not laughable is the children not having the opportunity to have growth and us not preparing them the proper way because we too busy fucking up things for them now. We too busy fucking it all up for them right now. They ain't gonna have nothing left to play with. Ain't gonna be no kumbaya. Ain't gonna be no happy ending. It's gonna be all disaster, destruction, and death. You know. So when you think it don't affect you, trust me, it does. In the long run, it will. And you think you can outlive it, sometimes you just don't. You ever heard of spin the block? Right. The ops spin the block on you now. So yeah, let me know how you like the poem. Your views on what Tupac said. Anything that I had to say. You can write it down in the chat, or let me put the link in the chat for those who wanna talk to me directly. I don't got no problem with that. Let's go with it. Uh-huh. All right. This is the story of a life. Let me get that link. Here's the link for those that want to come through and chill. Link coming right up. It's about that time. I'm about to let you know. Alright, the link is in the chat for anybody who want to come up, talk about what's going on currently in America. You don't got to be a politician to talk about it. Get it off your chest. Socially Balanced TV. I'm your favorite chef, your favorite host who do the most. What's up? I'm about to let you know. Link is in the chat. You can comment, support the platform, hit the Cash App or the Super Chat. Especially hit that like button for your boy. If you're new here, please subscribe. You already know. Let's give it a go. Till somebody hit the chat. Let's go. A little intro. You know how we do. Little intro mission.
Shelly, is that you? If you wonder if I am you, say you do to make me feel just like this. What I would do to make you feel just like this. If you wonder if I hate you, say you do to make me feel just like this. What I would do to make you feel just like this. I'm not always there on the worst times. Every time I hit you up on my line, you be talking everybody's new street side, but gossip, flipping like the faucet. No one knows bossing, baby. They wanna know I'm secret, why it's so perfect. You're the so purpose of my life. What's a big girl, mama, I'm gonna believe me. Ain't no secret, they my lady. Life goes on the way you walk up with your girls, looking places true, baby, like your girl. Never wanna lose you, girl. Not always show love. City of you to make me feel just like this. What I would do to make you feel just like this. Baby, what it is, I hate you. City of you to make me feel just like this. What I would do to make you feel just like this. You was preaching silent till you screamed at me. You would say you're right and you meant to hate me. You speak on silent till you ambush me. Now I'm not your silent one. Now I'm not your silent treat. Let me know permission. Missionary and boy. Listen, I'll say your soul. You'll never listen. No, no. I'm in love with it. Everybody feels the same. Every other mention you wish it was even like up and down, baby. No, it's been a night for us. No, it's been no finding us. Up and down, baby. You wonder if you to make me feel just like this. What I would do to make you feel just like this. You wanted it, I hate you. City of you to make me feel just like this. What I would do to make you feel just like this.
Right, it's your boy Chef Disaster. One more little jam before we get back into the commentary, or until somebody hits the chat. We're gonna play one more jam. Appreciate everybody coming in, stepping out. Just step on that like button as you do so. It's appreciated. You heard? Social Balance TV. Today in America, everything that's been going on. We've been talking about the planes falling out of the sky, the government spending cuts, um, the impact on the education new system, the decisions that Trump has made since taking the helm, stuff like that. We talked about. We even had some poetry by Daniela Gagno and Tupac talking about Donald Trump back in 1992. hmm We talked about it. We talked about it over here. We talked about a lot of things. You know, I get into it, man. I told you I am the content. There's a couple of more things I want to talk about. We can get into it. Right now, I got me some water, as the Queen Cascade can say. Just drinking my water, minding my business. But yeah, I got my little refreshment. You know what I'm saying? And I'm coming back with some more commentary. We're gonna get into it. We're gonna have that discussion. Word. Let's go.
Hey, if your partner is being secret,
Like, do you love me? Do you want me? Are you gonna call me like you said you would? Is this really your real phone number? Some of y'all go get washed. Some of y'all just go pop shit. Some of y'all just go talk. But none of y'all ain't really got shit. Some of y'all just look lost. I get this type of feeling when it comes to. I swear I'll be a piece of you. Yeah, I only want you to be beside me.
Let's go.
That's the way I like it. Yeah, that's the way I like it. That's the way I like it. When I'm down,
go. I got that content for you tonight. Let's go, America. Let's go. That's the way I like it. The speed of realest I ever rode. Alright, Peter Park, man. But yeah, salute, welcome back from a little intermission. I hope you got your drinks, your blunts, your blacks, whatever you need to get comfortable to receive this blessing, to receive this gem from your boy, your favorite chef, Chef Disaster, the host that do the most. Let's go. We outside. We talking about it today in America. Um, where were we at? Where was I at? Nobody has not yet to hit the panel yet, but that's okay. The show must go on because I am the content. I am him. So let's get into it. All right. So I know we talked about the plane falling out of the sky. How tragic. R.I.P. Rest in peace and blessings to those people who lost their loved ones on them planes. The fires. We got a few things we want to touch on. But yeah, big up to Daniela, big up to Tupac, big up to everybody. You know. So there's another thing going on, like that's been going, right up under your nose, and I can tell you like this: it's important. It's a really, 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 really important one. And when I talked about everything, it's about your right as an American person. whatever version of an American that you are. On this platform, you know, everything is good. Americans fall up under a different, category when it comes to saying, you know, what are you? This is the land of opportunity. And if you're not taking advantage of that opportunity to try to get paid, to get a bag, to do something like that, then what are you doing? You know what I mean? There's people that want to get here to have that opportunity that you are not grateful to even have. You know what I'm saying? Like, just tighten up. That was the big thing about it. I want to see better. I want to see better for a group of people that everybody shitted on. Everybody said they could never be nothing. You know what I mean? I want to see that. I want to be alive to see that happen. You know, eating better. You know, just being conscious. As my little bro always say, he always say, take care of yourself, man. Just take care of yourself. So like he tell me, I'm telling all of y'all, just take care of yourself, man. Just take care of yourself. Straight up. There's something like uh, we've seen it the tragedy that happened with the car bomber down in New Orleans. We've seen that, R.I.P. to those people down there too, right? And then the fires in California, like R.I.P. people to them families, like that's disgusting. All them people who's all like, I was in a fire before, and nothing of that magnitude. Don't get me fucked up. Don't get it twisted. I'm not saying it's anywhere near what they experienced, but because those people lost a whole lot more than me. But what I'm saying is the fact that you gotta find another place to live. You gotta wait for the support and all of that stuff. Big up to those people for being resilient and making it through that shit, man. You know what I mean? And big up to us as Americans that we able to, put things together and be there for our fellow Americans. You know what I mean? Whether you want to take that as something or not, but you don't know that until when you to your country, your fellow countryman comes to your aid. You know what I'm saying? So, big up to America as a whole. Us, the people, we make up America. If you're not in understanding of that, then what are you in understanding of? You know, if you want something to fight for, just look right at your doorstep. Every day you walk out of your doorstep, there's a fight going on. Just join in. Um, Today in America, I've learned I learn something every day. You know, one thing I noticed, someone always coming behind me, ready to take my place. So I gotta keep it pushing. I gotta keep worrying about the bag. There's always somebody coming up that wants your spot. If you don't, you'll get ran over. You know what I mean? In every element of life, whether you're a nurse, doctor, football player, drug dealer, tennis player, bus driver, car wash, somebody is coming that's stronger, quicker, better, more improved to take your spot. This is the land of opportunity. If you don't get with that part of it, you're gonna get left behind. You're gonna get left behind. And for some of us, imagine being behind when you already was behind. So if you already behind and you get left behind, what are you getting left behind to? Nothing. And those are the ones that are usually on at the stores when you're pulling up to get their little convenience stuff from the convenience store, asking you for some of your money. Those are those people. All right? You don't want to become that because they got to eat too. Those people got to eat too. They got to find their niche and they got to get it. And some of them steal from people who got it and who aren't careful out here, and they get caught slipping because poor people don't always be out on the corner just waiting to beg. Nah, poor people be out there scheming, plotting to steal and rob you. So the more and more jobs that are being cut, these are the type of elements that are being created in our America. in all America, right here. You know, there's a lot of opportunities out there for you to be great and just stay out of the way. Like we say in the hood, we say stay out of the way. Well, I'm here to tell a lot of yours, tighten up, stay out of the way, keep your head on a swivel. Yes, sir. Keep your head on a swivel. I ain't telling no lie. Because for some of us, that's life or death. You know, usually when people use that, they in a situation or element that's life or death. You know, but I'm here to tell you with common sense. That's how you should move. See everything. Don't just look at it. See everything, my fellow Americans. You know, understand there's opportunity out there for you. There's bread. There's money to be made. There are proper. There are places for proper speaking individuals and thug niggas and my shorties for you to get some of this paper. You ain't got to change yourself to provide for yourself, but you got to want to, right? Trust me, coming from a nigga like me, you should know that I know I've been there and done that. And one thing I know, you don't go back from if you came from humble beginnings. We'll just call it that. So today in America, we keep on doing what we do. I know there's a lot going on, and we've been through this. We've been through recession. You know, we've been through a lot of this already. My hood niggas, they go through the droughts. We've been through droughts before, and I know the food keep getting high, and the cigarettes keep getting high, and the gas keep getting high. I know. You just gotta tighten up or get out the way. Tighten up or get out the way.
See someone.
That's what you gotta do. You already know what it is. Hold on 1 second. Let me start the music back up. They're always doing that. Yeah, that's all you gotta do. So keep getting after your bag and dropping shit. All right. Here we go. That's more like it. So have that understanding. Know what's going on. This was a conversation about what's currently going on in America. You know, just commentary on that from what I see from my perspective. It's not nothing for you to, you know, it's not written in concrete or anything like that, you know. But I can say this. I can say this. It's real testimony. It's my experience, and I'm gonna keep bringing this content. You know what I'm saying? So be out on the lookout for the new content that's coming. got going on? Yes, sir. Yeah, that's that boy Jeezy. Jeezy. That's that. My president is black. My Lambos too. And I'll be goddamn if my rims ain't blue. Hey, get it on the flow. We get it on the flow. Get it on the flow. Get it on the flow. Hey, word. Um, normally things like this, I don't really take the time to express how I feel because I know as an individual, people are gonna believe and respectfully so are gonna believe and feel how they want to feel. So this is mainly because your boy is the content, but this is how you know if you wanted to get to an understanding with me as a content creator, you could kind of like see how I sort of operate. That's why the show is called Today in America. It's the perspective of me as an American content creator and what I see. You know, and in this episode, I bring to life with my personality the issues that are going on in America. As an American, I can tell that story better than a lot of other people can tell that story. The focus of the content today was to improve the decision making of the people who listen to the content, who enjoy the content, who are able to just put the content on and listen to the content as they carry on. It's not about the visual, it's about the understanding. So it's broken down to you not as an interactive content supporter, but as a supporter that is listening for understanding. I know a lot of y'all know me, so y'all know me already. But the ones that don't know me, this is for those people that are listening for understanding of what I'm talking about. Um, so when I express these things and I touch on these things, it's because I'm delivering a message as a content creator, sort of like a journalist, you know, operating under those guidelines and things like that, and trying to be impactful with the content, not to change the world, but to grab the attention of the person who's enjoying the content. You know what I mean? So today's America, government spending cuts, you know, and to let people who have the same kind of mindset like myself to actually think about it in that way so that they know that they're important too. Like just because like the rest of society don't say you're important, but you are. You know, the, the content comes out is given off for that purpose. You know, um, It might seem a little bit giddy at times and all that, but that's purposeful. Those who know me, outside of YouTube, I'm not gonna call it real life because YouTube is real life for me too, because I am the content. So I have a different understanding of it. I've been doing it for a while to where I have that understanding of it. So just when you tap in, know you tapping in for a different understanding, a different perspective, my understanding, where it's allowed for the other people that want to participate in the conversation, for those people to have their views and perspectives as well. You know, I always hope that you enjoy the content. I always hope that people enjoy being over here on Socially Balanced TV on my platform, enjoying themselves and enjoying the content. All right, word. Let's do this.
I don't really like to get it poppin', but these bitches in my business cut me out to choosing violence. See me out in public, you don't know me, keep it silent. In the bed, you might be screaming, but I'm trying to keep it quiet. You know, still I'm the lowest of the lowest. But if you can keep it, let nobody knows it. Oh, stay out the way. I need you to get the fuck on my space. The basement's on the way, we don't play. Pussy spit like a brain escape. Need no trick or that gon' change. Fucking, I ain't making love no more. Cause I got a new bitch with the fucking crying for. I'm moving service, calling on my favorite. You know how to reach me in time and days, you're mine. Rise up to time, committed to crime. Whatever long, I will say you'll stop. You'll be outside, cause I'm not getting to am I on your mind? Wherever you are, don't call me. So, I'm alone, I'm away. Burning on the sun, yeah, like to get it poppin'. These bitches in my business got me out here choosing violence. If you see me out on project, you don't know me, keep it silent. In the bedroom, I be screaming, but I'm sad I keep it quiet. Little I'm the lowest of the low. But if you can keep it, ain't nobody knows. Little I'm the lowest of the lowest. But if you can keep it, ain't nobody knows. I need total confidential privacy. No one knows thinking I'm a robot. Time so strange that we on the first class. Don't work my nerves, you know I can boy. Fucking we ain't making love no more. You took that you but ain't no matter where. So show whatever you whatever you need. Don't call me. I don't really like to get it poppin', but these bitches in my business got me out you to the dance. See me out in public, you don't know me, keep it silent. In the bedroom, I be screaming, but I'm sad I keep it quiet. I'm the lowest of the low. Baby, you can keep that, ain't nobody knows. I'm the Lord, so baby, if you can keep better, nobody knows it.
Yes, sir. Here we go. Yeah, that shit was fire right there. See what else I got. That shit was some fire. And see what we got. Hold on 1 second.
The universe, please make some noise. Give me a sign. This can't be right. If there's a point to losing love, repeating pain is all the same. I hate this place, stuck in this paradise. Don't believe in paradise. This will speak when hell's like this. Got to be more, got to be more. Sick of this divine, intrusive thoughts that paralyze. The fun is not, it's appetite. This got to be more than you record. Life's better or sadder, not to break this pattern, floating away. Find something worth saving, it's all worth taking. I always say, I'll be better or sadder, none of this matters. Dreaming of Saturn. Oh, if love is really real, how am I still here? Just seems so unfair. I could be wrong, though. If there's a point to being good, then where's my reward? The good that I'm in for, I gave it all I could. Stuck in this terror dome, all I see is terrible, making us hysterical. Got to be more, got to be more. Sick of this alibi, intrusive thoughts that paralyze. The fun is not, it's advertising. Got to be more than before. Life better or sadder, got to break this pattern, floating away. Find something worth saving, it's all worth taking. I always say, I'll be better or sadder, none of this matters. Dreaming of Saturn. Oh.
Yo, yo, what's going on? You on the little Rizza Joy enjoying the music. I was gonna listen to that one. Waiting to see if somebody gonna hit the panel. Hold on once while we wait. Got a little vibe. That was not the vibe. That was not. That sounded like it was not gonna be the vibe. I'm just saying. See what they got. Yeah. So, damn, I need some water real quick. Like I was saying, people don't care what's going on. Sometimes it's like you just speaking to yourself talk. Yeah, but I just like to get certain things off my chest because I'm blessed. You know what I mean? As you can see, let me pull something up right quick and let's get with it. Let's see what I got going on. So, if you think I'm kidding, let's see. Maybe I can do it to you like this. Um, let's do this. Let's do this.
The Department of Government Efficiency is expected to focus next on the Department of Defense. Natalie Brand has more than 10,000 federal workers who lost their job last week as part of Trump's plan to downsize the government.
The list of laid off federal workers continues to grow. At least 10,000 have lost their jobs. That includes more than 6,000 IRS staffers expected to be terminated by the end of the month. Among the thousands of jobs targeted within Health and Human Services, Katie Sandlin, an educator at the National Institutes of Health.
I've worked so hard and I've just always thought that hard work pays off, and it doesn't feel like that right now.
As workers' unions fight back in court, a judge ruled Thursday the firings can continue for now, saying the challenges have to go through the Federal Labor Relations Authority, which handles disputes between unions and federal agencies.
This is the chainsaw for bureaucracy.
Elon Musk celebrated efforts to slash government using a chainsaw as a prop at the Conservative Political Action Conference Thursday.
If all the money is just spent on paying interest on debt, there's no money left for anything.
But Republican lawmakers are fielding concerns from constituents back at home. Oregon GOP Congressman Cliff Bentz heard from them at his town hall.
And we demonstrated the outside in the door, and you can do it in a way that is humane and treat people with dignity, and doesn't fire them on the spot.
And that was sounding a little distorted. But did you hear the people talking about the cuts and how it was affecting them? 10,000 workers? Like 10 for real? That's a lot. That's not peanuts. People are actually being affected by this. I'm not just up here blowing smoke. I try to keep it, like a conversation that's organic plus has some authenticity, So I like to hear what other people say, but today we don't have as many participants, so we'll let the other platforms speak. So here we go. Here's another one. This is Donald Trump talking about how he fired people and stuff like that. I don't know. I haven't listened to it. Let's hear what he got to say.
If you suffer from symptoms such as leg pain, calf cramps, leg swelling, heaviness, or restless leg syndrome.
Several senior military leaders were ousted by President Trump, including the chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff. The shakeup at the top comes as the Pentagon prepares to lay off thousands of civilian workers this week. ABC's Johnny Fernandez has the latest.
One day after firing the nation's top military leader, General C.Q. Brown, and several other senior leaders, including Lisa Franchetti, the first woman to serve as the Navy's top admiral. President Trump touting his federal firing spree to a crowd of supporters gathered at the Conservative Political Action Conference on Saturday.
But the people have given us a resounding mandate for dramatic change in Washington, and we are going to deliver it. We're going to use it, and we're going to make America great again by using it.
The president also praised Elon Musk's campaign to cut government spending.
And he's doing a great job, and he doesn't need this. He doesn't need it, but he wants to see, he's a patriot. People said, well, what official position does he have? I said, patriot. They didn't know.
All this comes as the Pentagon prepares to lay off 5,400 civilian workers beginning next week in the first round of cuts. That could total tens of thousands as the Pentagon aims to cut between 5 and 8% of its civilian workforce. Layoffs also hitting the Federal Aviation Administration. More than 100 probationary employees have been terminated, including those that produce air traffic navigation maps, sources tell ABC News. President Trump insists these cuts are making the government more efficient, but voters across the country are pushing back. Polls show voters are unhappy with Trump's handling of one of their top issues, inflation, and his campaign promise to bring down prices on day one. Johnny Fernandez, ABC News, New York.
Yeah, man. They doing stuff, man. They definitely doing some things. Let's hear hear this.
Welcome back. Question. Could the Defense Department be next on the list of the Trump administration's efforts to wage what it calls a war on waste? That's a quote. The Washington Post, in this context, is reporting that the administration has directed defense agencies to submit a list of probationary employees and do so quickly. Some of those on that probationary list, once submitted, could be terminated as soon as this week. Barbara Starr joins me now. She is a longtime Pentagon correspondent and is currently a senior fellow with the University of Southern California's Annenberg Center on Communication, Leadership, and Policy. Barbara, My notes tell me that there are about 950,000 civilian employees with the Department of Defense. Budget last year, about $840 billion. There were probably...
They budget was 800, I think they said $1 billion, or something like that. Hold on. Let me go back. Let me go back. Let me go back. I don't know if I heard that correct. Let me see.
Is some room for efficient communication, leadership, and policy. Barbara, my notes tell me that there are about 950,000 civilian employees with the Department of Defense. Budget last year, about $840 billion. There were probably is some room for efficiency there, but these probationary notice...
$840 billion. That is a lot of money. That is a whole lot of money. That's all I'm saying. Hold on.
And the idea that significant firings could occur as soon as
That's
this
a lot
week.
of money.
How does that land with you? What are the implications of that?
Well, I don't think, as you say, it's a huge surprise to anybody. I can tell you there's plenty of four-star generals and admirals in the force who also think there's room for budget cuts. It's a lot of money. And nobody, I think, is opposing what they believe, and everyone has an opinion. Of course, there's sensible budget cuts. But there's something else going on here in Washington, and that's Congress. Because the way the Pentagon budget is designed, these weapons programs are these weapons are manufactured in any number of states across the country. And why is that? So you have senators and congressmen who have jobs in their districts that they want to protect, and they typically do not take kindly to massive budget cuts. They want to protect those manufacturing defense jobs in their districts. So there's going to be a long way to go to get this all done. As for the probationary employees, you know, this is something that is really having such an impact across the federal workforce. So many people suddenly losing jobs that they thought they had and having to find a way to earn a living.
And Barbara, in the context here, I think there are two P's: personnel at the Defense Department and procurement. You know better than I do that procurement is where the real money is. And there are ways to find weapon systems that can be manufactured more efficiently, less costly. It's been a constant story at the Pentagon. That's where the real money is, isn't it?
Well, it is. And if you're going to save that real money, you have to make substantial cuts in like individual weapons programs, such as doing away with a new aircraft, a new fighter jet, a new tank. You can't just nibble around the edges. You have to.
Now, this is CBS News. I'm not really, you know, I haven't dug up fake news, real news, and all of that, but, you know, sometimes you just listen to what other people say just to hear what's being said, or what's being hidden, or what's trying to be hidden. So constantly through this conversation, what I hear is, you know, a reason, like, even though that they're saying it like it's been tragic, but they also like sort of like giving a reasoning for it too. You know, that's what I really hear. And this is the CBS News. This is them talking about it. So let's finish that off. Let's finish that one off right there. Let's go.
To make significant cuts in significant places. And I don't think there's anybody who thinks there may not be room for that. But again, those defense manufacturing jobs, that's bread and butter for both Democrats and Republicans on Capitol Hill. They're going to want to preserve those jobs. So Pete Hegseth, the new Secretary of Defense, is going to have to really go a long way towards convincing Congress that the strategy the Pentagon has can do without these new weapon systems. This is going to go far beyond the message points and the sort of PR discussion we've been hearing from Hegseth so far. Now the rubber meets the road. He's going to have to explain what the defense strategy is behind these potential cuts.
And there have been some shock effects that the Department of Government Efficiency has had to recall, rehiring people on nuclear weapons watch, rehiring some people dealing with bird flu at the Department of Agriculture. if there are these 30% cuts in personnel at the Defense Department, and they're done with the sort of breathtaking speed that they've occurred at other agencies, might that have some effect on issues related to national security?
Well, I think inevitably it will. Again, as you point out, the nuclear infrastructure in the country, will that be protected? Will the rapid response forces across the world that would deal with a crisis in Korea, a crisis in the Middle East, a crisis beyond what we have with Ukraine in Europe, will those be protected? Will families be protected? Remember, when Pete Hegseth just several days ago went to Germany to visit the troops, very unusual. He walked onto a base in Germany and he was greeted with protesters from the families, the U.S. military families.
I don't know. I heard that. I definitely want to see from a different perspective. That was CBS News, and they had some good things to say. Some good things I would definitely take into consideration. They definitely was talking about the spending. They definitely put a number on it. So out of all of these government cuts, that was 800 billion or something, like an astronomical number. Just crazy. You know what I can do with that kind of money? But those are supposedly the cuts that's what it's going to lead up to. Well, that's how much they spend. They're not cutting that fully, but they're going to be trimming down off that number. So I don't know. That's Donald Trump and Elon Musk and his people doing all that. But that was just CBS News talking about it, and they definitely was telling on there. They was tell. Let's get a different perspective. Let's get somebody else's perspective to talk about it with us. I know somebody. I got somebody. I like what she be saying. She be keeping it a buck. She definitely be keeping it a buck. Let's see.
This Renault will absolutely be worth it. It's in mint condition, totally worth it. So, what do you think?
My bad. But let's go to her. Alright, this is Jasmine Crockett interview on let's see. Let's do this. Let's see. I got somebody else. Give me 1 second. I gotta pick a good one. For real. Hold on. We're gonna do that one. I think that might be the best one. We'll do this one.
DJ Envy, Just Hilarious, Charlamagne the Guy. We are the Breakfast Club. We
This
got a
is
special guest
Jasmine
in the
Crockett
building.
on
Messengers in the Democratic Party.
That's right. We have
The best
Congresswoman
messengers.
Jasmine Crockett. Welcome back. Good
Good morning.
No,
How you
wake
feeling?
up. Wake up.
I
You be
I'm
woke
so
when you be clapping
tired.
back. You
I
better
do,
wake up in
I
here.
do. But we don't have any hearings this early. I just want to be clear. Nothing starts before 10 o'clock.
How are you, first and foremost? How you feeling?
I'm over it.
Hey.
It's only been, what, has it been 30 days
I
yet?
think it has.
This fool is driving me crazy.
Do you eat, sleep, and shit this though? Like, do you mean like you don't never like just turn the TV off, like everything? Like, you know what? I don't want to think about it. I don't want to do nothing.
So as much as I don't want to think about it, I definitely stopped watching the news as much as I used to. But people are like DMing me, they're sending me emails, we're constantly getting phone calls. So no, I don't turn on.
Is there anything good that this administration has done so far? Anything that you can say, well, at least that's a good thing?
Huh?
Not nothing. I saw Bernie Sanders post yesterday about he likes what Trump is attempting to do with the Pentagon by auditing them and stuff like that.
Attempting. Let's see it happen. Here's the reality. I serve on the oversight committee. That's where all the drama typically happens. And we've had the Department of Defense come before us a number of times. The vast majority of the waste, fraud, and abuse that we have in this country is Department of Defense. You can Google and find out that at some point in time, we were spending like $1,000 per toilet or something. So like, that's where we see these inflated costs. That's where we have a lot of contractors. That's where they play a lot of games. That's where Elon gets the vast majority of his money is out of defense. And when they come before us and we ask them about their audit, they haven't had a clean audit in the last 6 times we've asked for an audit. So the fact that they're going to start with people that are getting very low, please charge now. The little old lady is just trying to get her little health care and they believe that that's what the savings is. That's not where the savings is, nor is it going after career civil servants and saying, oh, let me take your coins, let me take your job. Because when we add up, even if we fired everybody that works for the federal government, it's only maybe 4 or 5% of our budget, but over or approximately 50% of our discretionary budget is defense, and they can't pass an audit. So why we didn't start there, where Elon has decided that he's going to get 2 new contracts just in 2 weeks, one for $400 million to Tesla, another for a little over $300 million to SpaceX. I don't know why we didn't start there, but it seems like we could find a lot of waste, fraud, and abuse because, again, they've not been able to pass an audit.
There is a lot of waste, fraud, and abuse in the federal government.
I'm not going to say that there's a lot. I'm going to say that it does exist. I'm going to say that it exists. I don't think that there's a lot. I think.
So why are we so in debt then?
We're in debt because we decide that we're going to reduce the income, right? So under Trump in his first administration, we went into debt $8 trillion. Now, he wanted to say it was because of COVID. It really wasn't. Obviously, there was money that we sent out because people were in need during COVID to make sure that we didn't go into a recession. But at the end of the day, it was because he said, oh, wait a minute, that income, we're going to stop bringing that in from the top 1%ers. Well, those Trump tax cuts, they expire right about now. And he's trying to reinstitute them. So here it is. You've got Elon Musk running around talking about, I'm cutting this, I'm slashing this, I'm doing this and that, and da-da-da, all this kind of stuff, right? I do want to be clear that at the same time they're saying, but we got to raise the debt limit. Well, why do you have to raise the debt limit if we are saving all this money? You know why? Because they actually want to deepen the tax cuts for all those billionaires that were sitting on stage with him on January 20th. Those guys are looking to keep more money in their pocket. That is why. It's why we ran into debt last time. It's why we're going to run into debt again. The only time that we've had a budget that was clean and we didn't have to worry about debt, you know who was in office?
Bill Clinton.
Bill Clinton, a Democrat. You know what the tax rate was? It was what Kamala Harris was proposing. That is not the tax rate that they are looking to do on the 1%ers.
School me on this too, right? Bill Clinton did the National Partnership for Reinventing Government. He essentially, Elon's saying he's essentially doing the same thing Bill Clinton did as far as like, making the government smaller, more efficient. What do you say to that? What's the difference between what Clinton did in the 90s and what he's doing?
There's a lot that's different, but I do want to start with, because I actually looked at the numbers. We really were.
So you hear what she's saying. For those, this is Jasmine Crockett. She's talking about a bunch of things. Elon Musk, the USA administration. She's on the Breakfast Club, so she's not really in that kind of element. She's pretty much just talking about those type of things. So Just tapping in, letting you know what's going on if you just joined. This is Jasmine Crockett talking about things that are going on here in America with the Department of Defense, the budget cuts, and things like that. She's also talking about Elon Musk, Donald Trump. Again, this is Jasmine Crockett. She's a politician. Let's get it.
We were kind of big. We actually had more people working in the federal government when Bill Clinton was in office initially than we have now. You know what the difference is? The country's just a little bit bigger, right? So chances are you would need more. And we're talking about the people that are delivering your mail. You're talking about the people, because all y'all about to start calling us, somebody ain't got my tax refund check, okay? So like firing the IRS. We're talking about, the people that do FAA. So planes don't fall out the sky, right? So we have a lot more going on, and we literally don't even have as many people as we had working when he came in. So we were a little kind of bloated when it came down to it. But also, all presidents should have advisors, and that's essentially what he had, was an advisor. What they have said is that Elon is the one that cut off the spigot of money. Like, this is after money was appropriated, and then he's like, oh, no, you can't get that money. And now people are dying in other countries because USAID has stopped. And I want to be clear about something. You can shut down USAID if you want to, but that has to be done congressionally. Okay, that's number one. Number two, USAID is less than 1% of our budget. So they over here talking about something, they handing out condoms and they doing this and all this kind of stuff. It's literally less than 1% of our budget because they don't want you to pay attention to the over 99% of the budget, where yes, I would say most of the waste, fraud, and abuse is actually still at the hands of somebody like Elon Musk. Like these bootleg trucks that he decided that he was going to sell the federal government, I think maybe at $100,000. I don't know what the price is per truck or whatever, but he's selling these trucks at the same time that he's getting rid of all the people that were conducting.
That's crazy. So who she talking about? Elon Musk. Who she keep bringing up is the guy over there at Tesla, the head guy over there. She's talking about him. Now, this conversation compared to the other conversation that we was listening to earlier is totally different. I mean, she's like doing a tell-all right there on the Breakfast Club, and the other people at CBS was like trying to give a reasoning for it. Like you heard that. I mean, we listened to it. Theirs were about 5 minutes of basically a cover-up. That's how I feel. I mean, I call it a spade, but it definitely felt more like a cover-up to CBS conversation. I thought that I picked the wrong conversation with Jasmine Crockett because I thought because maybe she was out of her element that it wouldn't be as powerful or have some meaning because they're always playing around over there at the Breakfast Club. But they're being a little nice today. Let's see how long it lasts. It did kind of turn me off in the beginning. It did the little ha ha he he he. Cause I don't like Charlemagne sometimes. He play too much, man. That's why I don't really like be listening to them all the time unless they got like a good show because he play too much. But I like this show. They're behaving on her, and I can make it through that. Like I don't care if they act like that to other people, but like somebody that's like this, I just want them to, at least let them be themselves and don't act weird. You know what I mean? So she's talking about Elon Musk. So let's get back to it. The link is still in the chat for anybody who want to talk about it. Let's go.
Conducting investigations over him about Tesla, investigations about SpaceX. He got rid of all those people. And even in that interview that Trump just did, he's like asked by Fox News of all places, right? He's asked, well, who's going to oversee Elon and make sure his conflicts are good? He's like, oh, Elon is.
Elon gonna go
Like, I'm like, wait a minute now. Like, I mean, because I got a whole body of people that's over me. Like, I don't just get to decide what is, like, right and wrong. And honestly, I'm not allowed to take any money. Like, I have to live a very poor life right now, right? Like,
And you
so
could be getting paid.
I could be getting paid. I made more money before. I will make more money after. But right now, I am living not in the overflow. No, I mean,
That ain't
and
what the
that's,
internet does, say, Jasmine. The internet say you got
yeah.
houses and you work
Elon, yeah,
$8 million.
Elon, listen, no. I had to shut them down because first they said that I had a husband. No husband, y'all. First they said I had a husband, and they said that I was paying him $500,000 to keep me safe. And people were like, he should be doing that for free. And I was like, I don't know if y'all mixed up the black girl or if y'all just think every black girl that comes to Congress brings a husband who has to live off. That's not what it is, okay?
Right.
No husband, never been married, never been engaged, all right? That's number one. So then they said, well, she's worth $9 million and she's got all these homes. Let me tell you something. When I first got to Congress, about 2 weeks in, there was a case that I had been working for 7 years. It was a civil rights case, one of my last 2 civil rights cases. And I still got one pending. So just so y'all know, if I got to resign, I'm going to resign. But nevertheless, it goes to trial. I'm unable to participate because I'm not supposed to be, but I'm in this wind down period. It actually hits for about $22 million, all right? So ethics says you can't collect your attorney's fee on that.
Yeah. Gotta pay for that premium. Hold on one second.
At all. Now, mind you, I worked this case before I ever ran for Congress, right? So, like, that gives you an idea of how far they go
So you
when
didn't
it
get that
comes to the. No, but here's the deal. I would have resigned, and I will resign. I'm not gonna play with my money. Like, y'all tripping, because I worked on that case for 7 years.
Yeah.
It was against a very small city that literally can't pay it. Now, if for some reason they go find the coins,
You
then
will resign.
absolutely, I'm resigning, forcing a special election, and I'll win, right? But I do have another one that is pending, and it's pending against the city of Dallas. And the officer in that case actually pled guilty. If the city of Dallas does pay up, you heard it here first. I am resigning, and it will be a 7-figure payday for me because as an attorney, yeah, we do have cases that hit for millions of dollars. It's not really that odd. The thing is that I've always been a bleeding heart liberal. I have. So I was doing more criminal defense than anything. I wasn't really doing a lot of the big $1 million cases unless I was helping out the homies. I've got plenty of cases where I've gone into court, helped homies get 7-figure results, but that never was me. I just wanted to be comfortable, and now I got deal with Congress.
I like that. She was a lawyer. Jasmine Crockett, she told her story. She did it to help out the homies. And I think that's pretty dope. Like imagine if a lot of the rest of the world was doing that. How it would benefit. How it would benefit a lot. Again, it's Jasmine Crockett talking about. I'm gonna play a little bit more of this, and we're gonna do something else. We're gonna play something else, but this is Jasmine Crockett. Just introducing her to the space. I've been wanting to, do something on her. So hold on. Let's get it. Let's finish.
You said you could resign and then run again, you said?
Yeah, I'm gonna collect my check.
Resign, get that money.
I just wanna they asked her the question, to Charlemagne and Jess Hilarious and them was over there questioning her. They gotta be nice with the questions. Some of the stuff is good, and some of the stuff is just gibber jazz, but they gotta be nice. So let's see if we can make it through.
Yeah.
Because there's mad billionaires in Congress.
That part.
Yeah.
And they only got upset about this lie. I'm like, first of all, why y'all mad? If this was true, why is this a problem? It's a problem just because I'm a black woman for most of them, right? Because they still not mad that Elon literally made another $100 and something billion since the election. Y'all not mad at this African man?
Let me ask you a question. You think a lot of the stuff that Trump is doing now is to quiet that? Is we possibly gonna give you guys $5,000
as a distraction.
We're possibly gonna take the congestion prices, say hello to the king. You think he's doing those things to say, you know what, all the rest of us?
They're really gonna give you $5,000 of the $8 billion that they're cutting in their spending and give every American $5,000. That's what they're saying they're gonna do. They're cutting their spending. They're gonna give you your cut, which is $5,000, while there's the number of spending is $8 billion. You get $5,000 out of it. That's what they're talking about right now. I don't know if you haven't heard about that, but now you hear them talking about it right now. Yeah, the $5,000 that they're supposed to be giving to everybody. So let's see. I don't know. How would you feel? What would you do with the $5,000? Would you take it at this point? Do you feel like you're selling your soul if you take it? I don't know. But let's hear what they're saying.
That stuff. These people won't even check me because they think I'm doing this.
That's exactly right. He knows that they're not going to check him, right? Like, I mean, you can go back and play the clips of him talking about how he loves the uneducated, right? If he would ever run for president, he would run as a Republican. Like, and we know, like, this isn't me trying to throw shade. These are just the facts.
Mm-hmm.
When you look at who's voting for who, the less educated folk, and when I say educated, I'm not even talking about formal education. I'm talking about people that literally don't want to read and enlighten themselves on facts.
Mm-hmm.
Those are the people that typically vote for the Republicans, and it's one of the reasons that we have to stop writing in theses as Democrats, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, we want to give you every single little detail that we can find so that you can have all the information. But the reality is that the average person that is going out there and voting, they're not paying attention to that. And we fail to realize how selfish people are. People go out and they vote in their own self-interest, right? And so you had all these racists that showed up and decided that they were going to vote for the other races because they thought, hey, we are all the same. But the reality is that he is a rich racist, okay? Mm-hmm. And so when he decided that he was going to look out for somebody, it was only going to be other rich white guys, not the rest of y'all. So as you're losing your job, as you're losing your Medicaid, as you're losing your farm, you're feeling away because you're like, wait a minute, you were supposed to go after the others, not come after us.
Mm-hmm.
And now they're saying, oh, well, we'll give you a $5,000 check. I don't see it happening right now. That is not a part of the budget that they have proposed. That is for sure. So they just had a markup. So this is the first that they're ever talking about this. The budget that they proposed where they went through a third.
So she just said she don't think that they giving them the $5,000 check. She don't think so. That's what Jasmine just said. She said it's not in the budget. I don't know. Is it like strategy or something? I'm not in that circle, but I know she is. So let's just finish seeing what she got to say.
15-hour markup just the other day proposed getting rid of Medicare. So I mean, theoretically, they should have the money if you decide that people won't have health care in this country, which costs a little bit more than $5,000 a person. But the reality is that they're not going to do that.
It's so interesting. I said that 18 months after he got sworn in, I felt like, the economy was just going to be in the toilet. And I felt like that's what they were going to do. Like, they were going to do either the tax credits or the stimulus checks just to pacify all of the people that's going to be out in the street complaining. I mean, you got 12,000 federal workers already fired, and it hasn't even been a month.
No, I mean, what's today? The 19th? He sworn in January 20th. So, yeah, we are, and what I need people to understand is that $5,000, even if you get it, it's not going very far because we are headed to a recession.
That's
That
right.
is the bottom line. People talked about how terrible the economy was, and that was more so like things were expensive, but people were absolutely able to still enjoy all these plane rides. Because every time I caught a flight, it was absolutely packed, right? And so, yes, it was expensive, but you could pay for it. You're going to end up in a situation where you're not going to be able to afford the food. Right now, you're getting rid of the people that labor in the fields, right? Because here's the reality. When you look back at the history of this country, they have always relied on some person of color to labor. That is why they needed slave labor, right? Like, we were the ones that they took onto the plantations to work the fields. And so we know that we have so many immigrants that come into this country, and their only thing that they're looking for is a way to survive. And so they will work for the pennies that is paid to actually work the farms, and that keeps the cost of our food down. But when they send their money home, it goes a long way. And so their family is able to live a better life than they would have been able to live if they were still there, where they didn't have the job opportunities, right? But these are also the people that are building our houses. As you're complaining about the cost of homes, now we have another input cost that's about to go up because, listen, these people aren't showing up. I just talked to contractors down in Atlanta, Georgia. They talked about the fact that their workers are not showing up to work because they are concerned about whether or not they are going to come and try to take them away. And this is even if you are a citizen. Because ICE is so ignorant, they rounded up everybody.
Yeah.
They rounded up Puerto Ricans. They are Americans, right? They are rounding up Native Americans. They are the most American that you can find, right? Like, they are rounding up everybody. So people of color are like, yo, I am not even going to work, right? So now you're talking about costs going up, but you're also talking about less people working. The United States is the 15th largest employer in the entire world, right? So now they're like, oh yeah, all those people we're firing, they can just go to private industry. The jobs don't exist. And private industry is signaling that they know that the recession is coming. Southwest has never done a layoff like what they did in the entire existence of Southwest. And they just cut 15% of their workforce. So we're seeing where private industry is starting to collapse and starting to actually reduce their workforce instead of increase it. So where are these people going to go? And people don't realize how many organizations, private or otherwise, rely on federal dollars in some way. And now you're saying we're going to take those federal dollars out, but we're not putting them back into people's pockets. We're putting them into the pockets of my friends. So now Elon is going to get more money. Now I'm going to figure out how to serve myself, because he also told his Department of Justice, do not enforce the marijuana laws, right, on the books. Do not enforce the fact that there's this disparity between crack and cocaine on the federal level, but do not enforce foreign influence laws. Okay, well, I'm sorry. I had nobody from the hood get caught up because they were engaged in some kind of foreign influence.
That's a fact.
I mean, so who is it that typically gets caught up? It's people with access. And so now basically he's signaling to all of these people that have tried to corrupt our government, come on through, drop off a bag. In fact, y'all just had a senator nearby that just went down. They just gave Menendez 11 years for the exact thing that he's telling his Department of Justice, do not enforce this. That's where we are.
How do you feel about that? Because, you know, it seems like if you're cool with Trump, you get a pardon. If you're cool with Trump, he'll tell you don't prosecute him. Recently, we've seen Eric Adams not being prosecuted. What's your thoughts on that?
Cool with Trump, you get paid.
Listen, my thought is that I'm still black in America and I ain't gonna play no kind of game. Like, so I am gonna walk the straight and narrow for a number of reasons. Number one, I have some morals about myself. And number two, I know that they would love an opportunity to lock me up, right? Like, I would be the exception to the rule. But you're absolutely right. I mean, Canada.
Yeah, they probably do want to lock her up. I bet they do. They waiting for her to do something so they can lock her up. I'm sure. I'm sure. Jasmine Crockett, you would be done if you gave him a reason. Just give him a reason.
Has really been
Don't do that, baby
to
girl.
call it out. The fact that I'm rooting for Canada and I'm rooting for Mexico a lot is really wild. But they are really the ones that are speaking truth to power right now. They can see what it is, and they were like, we are not messing with this crazy regime from Mar-a-Lago, and basically calling them thugs. That's what it is. But I'm like, y'all knew who he was when y'all elected him. So don't act surprised. You elected somebody who was actually convicted by a jury of his peers of 34 felony convictions. Again, if it was me, there's no way. I mean, right now, I ain't got no convictions, no arrest, no nothing. And I would never be qualified for president in this country in the eyes of the vast majority of them. But a guy who literally not only...
This is a woman, Jasmine Crockett, the congresswoman, that I believe is highly, overly qualified to be the president of the United States of America. So to hear her say that, I think she's wrong. I think she would do a wonderful job being the president. You know, just hearing her chop it up over there with the Breakfast Club, I think she would do a magnificent job. Just keeping it a buck. I wouldn't mind her being the leader of the country. Like, you know, definitely seems like a good look. Seems like things would be properly handled, you know, just by the way she carries herself. You know, in particular, I haven't followed her for a long time, so I don't really have a lot of background on her. But I know from the things I've heard from her on different platforms and different places I've heard her at, she always carry herself as the type of person that is about her business. Like she ain't gonna favor anything. Like if you get caught with your hand in the cookie jar, there's repercussions to that. She's not gonna have no leniency. Um, but she's definitely talking about the stuff that's going on today, and I like her approach to it. I think the element that she's in, she's able to get more detail, and give a different understanding to the lower class people. But let's finish it off. You know what I'm saying? Let's finish listening.
Only ended up becoming a convicted felon, but also had other cases that were pending in other jurisdictions. Oh yeah, he's good to go.
You just said something that I've been thinking about. Why do people still talk like Donald Trump is campaigning, as opposed to like he's actually here right now, in the flesh, doing what it is that he's doing? Like they still talk like, they talk like they talk like they can stop this. Like I saw Governor of Illinois, JB, what's his name?
Pritzker.
Yes, he was talking, but I'm like, yo, that should have been said 4 years ago.
Yeah.
The things that he was saying. Like why are they talking like he's still campaigning?
I'm gonna say this. I think that there's two things. I think that again, Democrats are so cerebral that we were like, of course nobody's gonna vote for him again. They'll remember the dead bodies that were piling up in freezer trucks in New York. They'll remember that he was telling people to inject bleach. They'll remember that they were losing their jobs. They did not know if their family members were gonna live or die. They will remember. We thought people would remember, and then we started to realize way too late that a lot of people forgot. All they remembered, it was almost like our brains would not remember the bad. All they remembered was like things like a $1,200 check, but they didn't remember how they got it, right? Like they didn't remember Pelosi. They didn't remember the Democrats were controlling the House at the time. Like they didn't remember that part of the story.
That's what Democrats suck at messaging and marketing.
Well, we're still working. But I will say the other part of this though about Pritzker is that I think what we're trying to do is at least make sure that people wake up, because there are things that we can do. I don't accept defeat. I mean, if I accepted defeat, here's the reality. I wouldn't be sitting here before you. My ancestors never accepted defeat, so I won't either. Did he win? Absolutely. Are we defeated? Absolutely not. And so right now,
the election, don't concede the Constitution.
Absolutely. I like that. Look at you with your alliteration. Okay, there we go. So here's the deal. We know that the House is only a 3-member difference. 3 members going to the Democratic side means that we control the House and we start slowing things down. We have 3 seats that are about to be up. We have 2 seats that are up right now. We have another one that will be up in New York. And so I'm telling people, put all your energy into these 3 seats, because I can't wait 2 years. Like, I'm tired of him already. So we need an opportunity to start stopping him. So I do want governors like Pritzker to give people this belief and this hope. And I want people to go out and say, you know what, I don't have very much money, but I think that it's worthwhile for me to give my $10 to these people that are running in Florida, to give money to whoever is going to ultimately run here in New York. I think it's worth my time to show up and actually knock on some doors and talk to people and listen to people and ask them, why did you vote for Trump? And Trump would still be your president, but don't you want this to slow down a little bit? Don't you want somebody to say, hey, wait a minute, we think that it's important that Social Security still exists, and the only thing that will stand between you and your Social Security is potentially having a Democratic House. And it doesn't mean you're a Democrat, but it does mean that you believe in a Democratic Republic. And so I want us to work these 3 seats right now, because one of the elections, Florida, will take place on April 1st.
So those are the guardrails that are in place to protect, people like the federal workers from what Elon Musk and Donald Trump are.
Well, as it relates to that part, the guardrails are the courts. That's the only thing that we have standing right now. And I'm concerned that ultimately the high court belongs to him. So I know he's trying to get those cases up to the Supreme Court again, get them to dismantle the Constitution a bit, dismantle laws a little bit. But the fact that they push back on TikTok, of all things, like, just forget the subject matter. But ultimately, in a 9-0 decision, when it came down to TikTok, they said, oh, never mind. Like, no, you can't do that. That was signed into law. Whether you like it or not, it was signed into law, and you can't just unilaterally overturn that. So I think that we may have a little help from them when it comes down to things like once Congress appropriates something, you can't do anything about it. Now, here's the thing: it'll never make the Supreme Court in time because this last funding bill runs out on March 14th. We won't get to the Supreme Court by March 14th to get a decision, but we potentially will have a new budget, and that budget should be done because he does have a Trump trifecta. It should be done in the image of what it is that they want to deliver. And so we'll see if they can get it done. I don't know. I think we're shutting down on March 14th.
On March 14th? You think the government's going to shut down?
Yeah. I mean, the last time we shut down was under Trump. And we shut down, I think.
So she's saying we're going to have another government shutdown. We shall see. I don't know. Maybe, maybe not. A shutdown. I don't even remember what happened the last shutdown. But I know that's what she just said. We're going to have another government shutdown because of Trump and his administration, March 14th. She's definitely touching on some of the things I wanted to talk about tonight, so it was kind of good that we brought Jasmine's opinion and perspective on the platform. Word up. Let's finish this off.
At least 2 times, and the longest shutdown we've ever had in the history of this country came under Trump. And right now they have a slimmer majority than they had when I was in the 118th session. So right now they can only lose 1 vote. 1 Republican vote can vote against it. So if all Democrats show up and vote against it, which we should, they can only lose 1. Right now, I don't see how they get it passed. But we'll see. They can get it past the Senate. I don't see how they get it past the House.
Why do you think people still love him so much? And I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about like us. Like, why are there some of us that still favor him? Like, why is he still so, like, he has such a high approval rate? Trump.
I don't know that. Well, I ain't gonna say he got a high approval rate. He is doing better in his approvals than he
like
typically.
Like a lot of black people.
You don't mean literally.
Fighting for it.
Oh,
I
okay.
think it is because they put out a poll. I think his approval rating was 53%.
Yeah,
She's talking about black people, though, right?
Yeah, I'm talking
Okay.
about us. Like, there's so many of us like that.
Yeah, I can't explain it.
Man.
I can't explain it. I have no explanation. The only thing that I can say is that number one, I'm happy to know that Trump is an anomaly. People continue to try to be the next Trump. They are not, right? Like, we've seen it with DeSantis. He's not. We've seen it with Vivek Ramaswamy. He's not. Elon Musk, his numbers continue to drag him down, right? For whatever reason, Elon's numbers go down and Trump's still kind of linger about the same or go a little bit higher. I will say that there is a cultural aspect to Trump that is unique and unlike anything we've ever experienced. And I think that was another failure that we had in the campaign overall, is to understand that he's different. He's different. This is a guy who's had his name on buildings forever. And people have been like, oh, he owned it. Not really. His name is just on it, right? And so he's very good at creating this perception. He's created this perception of, I am that guy, right? And he literally became the closest thing to Teflon Don that we have seen, right? Like, who has this many cases in this many jurisdictions? And yeah, I know.
Because the presidential immunity.
I get it. But I'm just saying. So I think that from a cultural aspect, like he used to be talked about in rap songs and things like that, I think it's hard for you to then say, oh no, he's a terrible person. Because there's been this kind of aura around him that was created, which may have been okay for TV, may have been okay for music, may have been okay for casinos, but it ain't okay in the Oval Office. Like, I need y'all to separate the two. Like, like I don't need it to be that everybody that kind of walks in that lane is now somehow qualified to be president of the United States, because it takes different qualities. And I think that that's why it's been so hard to kind of tear him down, is because he's different. I don't think these people are necessarily Republicans. I don't think they're necessarily going over to that side. I don't think they're necessarily MAGA. I think that they are just.
I agree with her. I think he's got a weird mixture of followers. Like, the followers are following him, but the actual followers don't get along with each other. But they all following him, which makes it kind of weird. So he's got like a certain group of followers following him that are like over here with it. Then you got a certain group of people that are following him that are over here with it. They don't meet and be like, "Yo, we chill." They stay on the other side, but they they loyal to the president, Donald Trump. Definitely was an interesting conversation from Jasmine Crockett, and then the one from ABC, CBS. No, yeah, that was CBS. Two different conversations. One was a radio show, one was a news broadcast, but different perspective. Even though they were talking about the same thing, they both got in depth about the spending and the numbers and stuff like that. They both were telling a lot of the behind the scenes stuff, but we can tell they were keeping secrets, because that's what they have to do. They can't tell everything. They're sworn into secrecy and all that other good stuff. They keep files and all of that stuff. See, they just released the FBI files, so there's some secrets that they got to keep. But all in all, I think that both interviews were very informative, and we learned a lot about what's going on in America today. At least I did for that matter, and it was a really interesting thing to find out how things are going on right up under our noses today in America. All the money that's being spent. That's what I mean by what's going on up under our noses. We have an organization that has an $8 billion spending budget. I don't think y'all know the significance of $800 billion. That's a lot of money. That's a whole lot of money for one um part of the government. That's a big check, man. But yeah, we heard it. Ain't nobody hit the panel tonight. Shit, really ain't nobody left in the chat. So let's get up out of here.